You want to achieve more with your life. You want to get more things done. You want to be more productive. You want to provide yourself and your family with more financial security. You just want to get things done. Certainly, internet culture, celebrity culture, it pushes this idea that you can be working round the clock.
I come from an Italian family, and they all have an incredible work ethic trickle down to me. And
Mr. Beast, he's working 24/7.
If your goal is to be like a super successful entrepreneur, you need to either be working or you need to be doing something that decompresses and recharges you so you can work again.
Now, if your plans and your actions and the desires and the things you've been hoping to do have not worked out, and it's left you with the question, can accountability make a difference in my life? The obvious answer to that is yes, accountability can absolutely make a difference in your life. However, it is not a magic bullet, but it does make a difference. But I just want to say that kind of caveat because there are many other variables at play with your life that would also kind of need to be put under a microscope. So accountability, it works. But how can I make it work for you? Well, aside from kind of all my other day-to-day tasks, career tasks that I've been forced upon, I've also, over the last few months, been working with an accountability buddy. That is just my best friend, essentially, where we have kind of coaching calls and we are accountable to each other for all the personal tasks that we both want to achieve in our life. So what I want to do is share some of the techniques and some of the details of that process so you too can use accountability in your life, be it with a friend or someone else, to essentially help you get moving in the right direction that you want your life to go. Whether that person is like a friend, a work colleague, a family member, the main part of accountability is you want to find someone that you trust to work with and be accountable. Now that can be two-way, you can hold them accountable and they can hold you accountable, but you just want to be with someone who you trust and respect. Now the reason for this is, first of all, imagine, right, you've got goals and ambitions that are in your mind that you don't even know about yet, like you haven't even fathomed them yet, but actually just speaking them aloud to another person makes them far more real than you just thinking, late at night before you go to sleep, oh yeah, there is that thing I want to do, there is that other ambition I have. Have an accountability buddy, speak out your wants and desires into the ether, making them that much more real. Also, when you achieve a step on the way through accountability buddy, get praise. When you get a win, when you overcome something, don't just, oh yeah, I did that, moving on, don't even think about it. Let someone be there for you, to praise you, to make you feel good, to show you that you're going in the right direction. I'm reminded of is it a mnemonic? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that really is the antithesis of an accountability buddy. Having someone there by your side, whether it's in a team, imagine like in a business and whatever, the more people you've got going towards a mutual goal, the more likely you are to get there. Another obvious reason as to why you want someone there with you is that when you fall off, like when life gets in the way, okay, you get ill, you get injured, you have something else come up that's just takes up so much of your time, you've got someone there to pick you back up. So you haven't got to go through a period of 1 month, 2 months or whatever, start the thing, give up, like get sidetracked, and then come right back round to it like a year later going, oh yeah, I really did want to do that, but I failed it now, so I guess it's just not for me. When you're accountable to someone, one, you're far less likely to just dismiss it because you're accountable to them, you have to do it. And at the very least, say you don't do it, you can talk to them about why, or maybe you can adapt your plan. But it just helps you get back on the horse quicker. Like you're never just going to go, accountability, boom, all my ambitions done. It's going to be a rocky path. Failure is an inherent part of success, and having someone there alongside you is going to help you move past those obstacles of failure. Now I want to talk about the quality of that relationship, okay? So I'm talking about a friend, a family member, a close work colleague, or maybe someone perhaps with a lot of expertise that you can go and get hold of in the things that you want to do. First of all, they're not your mum, so don't expect them to be doing this for you. And obviously, I can say that to you, and then you can go, oh, yeah, of course, like they're not my mum. You are spearheading your own life. They are just there to assist you. If you are prone to falling off, maybe you do need someone to kind of give you a bit of a clip around the ear to say, no, come on, you've got this, you can do this. But you've really got to consider the kind of power dynamic in that relationship. You don't want school teacher, student. You want someone who's going to be collaborative with you, hold you accountable, but ultimately put you in the driver's seat. And something else I think I see really prominently online is if you're not this, you are like scum of the earth. You don't want someone who's going to keep you accountable by just kind of flogging you. In terms of that carrot or stick model, it's not all stick, it's carrot. It's collaborative. They are helping you on that journey of self-discovery, of understanding how you work, who you are, what your real goals are. They are not there just to go, okay, we set some goals, you didn't achieve them, what is wrong with you? Let me take your stuff away. How do you think about this? How can you look yourself in the mirror? They're there to fundamentally support you and help you grow. And you need to be open to the idea of having someone really alongside you, almost being like a little bit of a shadow of yourself in a positive light to help you navigate through your own future. Another great factor in accountability is consequences. You can have consequences such as you need to do these things, or there's a forfeit, you need to give me money, you need to make kind of like a public declaration that you're going to be doing these things, and if you don't, there's consequences. However, I think you need to be very careful about how you use them. Ultimately, consequences need to motivate you. If there is that kind of disconnect between consequence and then action and motivation, you need to find something else. So let me give you a little example. When I was probably like 16, I wanted to go to the gym, but I wasn't going. So I managed to convince myself that they should keep taking my monthly payments as punishment for not going, because then I would start going again because the money was always coming out. This was a dumb thing to do, and it just cost me hundreds of pounds, which I didn't have as a teenager. And I want you to think of this as the same for you. Don't hear something online about, oh, that motivates that person, they did that, therefore I need to do that, therefore I should be handing over money, therefore I should be doing these other forfeits. Allow yourself to find something, if you are going to use consequences, that actually speaks to you. I'm a very empathetic person, and I really, really, really can't stand the idea of letting someone down. So, with my friend, I can't bear the idea of going to him at the end of the month and saying, I just haven't done all of these things. I know you've done your things, but I haven't done mine, because we are on a journey together. So, for me to let him down is unthinkable, and therefore, even when I come home and I haven't got lots of time, or when I want to do something fun, or kind of when I don't want to get out of bed, I'm more compelled to think, oh, I've got to fit in all my career work, but I've also got to do these side projects. This is how, therefore, I'm going to find time to do them. This is how I'm going to be accountable to my actions and to my goals. So you want to be accountable. What are you going to be accountable to? You're going to be accountable to a goal. Now, this is a very, very key part of accountability. What is it to? Listen closely. Okay, so if you go into probably like a corporate environment, right, they're going to be talking about SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. Now, these may work for some goals, but I'm not going to say that that is the gold standard by which you need to work, okay? I personally think it's much more valuable to focus on, one, is there progress, okay? And then two, what was the intent behind what your actions actually were, even if they didn't achieve like an arbitrary goal, okay? So, let's talk about it. You want to start running, and you only got like 5 kilometers done that month, or perhaps even less. Now, you need to accept, first of all, and that is a kind of a cruddy example, but accept, first of all, that progress is progress. If you're going to transform yourself into somebody completely different who's capable of doing all these other things, and almost like a completely parallel life, then you need to accept that's a slow process. It's much easier, I believe, to show yourself compassion and love and give yourself time to change slowly, okay? So maybe you didn't go to the gym this month, right? But you did put your trainers on, or maybe you did go on a lot more walks. Small compounding positive change, I believe, is far more impactful than just sweeping changes overnight, okay? So that's number one. Figure out what your goals are, but actually allow the floor of those goals to be very low and very, very achievable. And I know, and I'm really guilty of this as well, that you want all the progress up front. You want to imagine yourself, like if you're going to put yourself out there, you want your life to look completely different in 6 months' time, a year's time, okay? You spend your whole life in the current patterns and behaviors, okay? Unless you're going to go on some wild like acid trip or put yourself in a completely different environment where you're forced to do something, like you're strictly held accountable, things are probably going to take time. And you don't want to have just beaten yourself up time and time again just to find yourself in the same place over and over again. So take it easy on yourself, make slow progress. Another aspect is, how are you going to track your kind of goals and your accountability? My friend, he likes to have like a grid, and he likes to physically, with a pen, colour in each little thing he does every single day. And he likes to put little goals there, he likes to put big goals there, but just those daily markers that show him he is or isn't doing what he sets out to be. So it's kind of like his Bible, it's what he believes in, it's what he wakes up to fulfill. And he's doing it with a physical pen because it's tangible, he can touch it, he can feel it. It's a much more intimate process when it isn't a click of a button, from his perspective at least. Me, on the other hand, how I like to work is I like a counter for days I haven't done this or days I have done this. So, for example, one of my ones right now is when you work to a timer before you take breaks or before you fidget, before you start going on news and before you find yourself distracted. So, for me, it's days since I haven't worked like that. And all that is, very simple, that's just coaxing me to, when I start work, go, give it 15 minutes, give it half hour, give it 45 minutes, give it an hour, and you just can't check your phone until then. So I might just do half an hour goes, or 10 minutes goes, whatever, then I can just check my text or whatever, okay? Very, very simple, and by my own kind of metric, I could do 10-minute look at my text, 10-minute look at my text, but it's just building good habits that then over time will slowly improve. The final aspect I want to talk about with the goals is, if you don't complete your goals, don't whip yourself. You may find that by not doing your goals, you actually start to realize maybe they're more desires and not what I actually want to do. So, for example, okay, I want to have a great bod, I want to lose weight, I want to be really smart. So, my goals are going to be read a ton of books, eat really healthy, exercise loads. I get to the end of the month and it turns out, well, actually, I've read more novels, I've been to the gym quite a lot, but maybe I missed out like a certain aspect of what I was supposed to do. Maybe I didn't train legs as much as I kind of had planned to, right? If you keep failing your goals again and again and again, it might not be because you're not whipping yourself hard enough, your friends aren't whipping yourself hard enough, you haven't got enough on the line. It may just be that that's not you. And that is a really difficult part of kind of personal transformation, is actually accepting this is me and this isn't me. What I wanted actually isn't me, and perhaps who I really am, I'm going to need to get a lot more comfortable with. Really, really difficult self-reflection to have. But I think for someone who's certainly striving for something they don't have, as everyone is, who's looking at their accountability, they need to kind of reflect on that fundamental question about who they are and what they really want if they're to kind of be successful. Because it's easier to be the best to you than it is an idealized version of yourself that perhaps isn't actually congruent. Okay, and finally, I know it's really easy to imagine where you are now, where you are in the future, and you just kind of want to get through all this and become the person that you've always wanted to be and live that life that you've always wanted to live, right? And it's boring and it's cliche, but it is about the journey. It's not about the destination, okay? The journey of your life is about that self-discovery and finding out who you're meant to be bit by bit, okay? So just kind of down the pitchforks and allow yourself to enjoy that process of slowly improving, okay? It's going to be so much easier in ways that you can't imagine yet, to do it in a kind of fun, in a friendly, in a self-satisfying, in a self-soothing way. I know it sounds really airy, but it is just about really enjoying that process of becoming. I would consider that when the times are really good, imagine yourself however many years from now, you've got all these things that you wanted, right? You're old, you're living in whatever home and things you always wanted. You're going to be talking about the struggles you had way back when. I can't imagine how many millionaires, or I've definitely heard Elon Musk talk about how many times kind of SpaceX nearly went bust and whatever, and how they were kind of hanging on before they got their big deal off NASA or the Pentagon and whatever. Allow yourself to enjoy the process of becoming. This is your life's journey. It's your narrative. You're kind of facing the dragons of your own fairy tale. Live for those moments, as scary as it can be, because maybe you don't have the security, maybe you don't have the partner, maybe you don't have the stuff you want for your family and your kids and your friends, but you're not going to make it come any faster by beating yourself up. I really hope these tips on accountability help. Just remember, be kind to yourself, be really adaptable, and don't give up, because if there's a willingness or there's a wantingness in you somewhere to become something, that is almost divinely and innately in the process of manifesting into something.